Welcome to Birds of a Feather. This is AJ, Suburban Princess, back at it again. Tonight is game 6, where we thought we wouldn't be, but as me and Eddie B, who is coming back now to give his perspective as well as mine, since we were both too livid. Yeah, too livid to even discuss what happened on Wednesday night's game. So basically, we're just going to run down. It's 3-2 Hawks. They're back in Atlanta. They should have wrapped it up on what, Monday or Tuesday? Which was it? It was Tuesday? Yeah.
Monday they should wrap.
Monday. And so the point was, now that we're back in Atlanta for whatever reason, we have to really be some honest fans right now and cut the bullshit basically, and basically say how we feel. So I'm highly disappointed, but I think our interests might differ. So basically, Eddie, how have you felt this series alone, and how do you feel now that we're now to a game 6?
I mean, the first 3 games, I didn't feel this way. But now I was completely just angry about the whole thing. They blew 2 20-plus point leads, which is unheard of. They have never done that as a team in their Sixers history. It's the first time they blow one a 20-something plus point lead. And it's crazy, and it's starting to look like lack of heart. That's what it's starting to look like. I mean, 38 points in the second half alone. That's it. 38 points. That's all they put up in the game in that Monday night game. 38 points in the second half. 3 more baskets in shooting game. And it's not even that Atlanta is playing well. They're not playing that well. Our defense is stifling these guys, and we're still not winning, which I cannot fucking understand. To save life.
Let it out. Let it out.
If I was these guys, I'd be so mad at myself. Ben's a great defensive player, but I'd be so mad at myself for letting this happen after you just wasted defensive effort. And Monday night's game, they had 5 stops in a row. 5. And they still couldn't capitalize on it. 5 stops, you mean tell me you couldn't get 4 points out of that? Or even 2? It's ridiculous. Like, this team is playing with no heart. You see, you can look at their posture. Look at Ben when at the end of the game. Like in the last game, he just was like, he looked out there. Tobias looked lost. I saw that thing that she put out, the missing person thing. It was fucking great. Because it's
that was everywhere. That was everywhere apparently in Philly. They literally put missing posters out there of Tobias and of Ben.
Yeah. Oh, they both deserve every bit of criticism that they're getting right now. They're both max. I mean, Tobias is a max player. Ben, we know Ben is not a great scorer. Okay, and Tobias is supposed to be our second best scorer on the team, behind Embiid. So why did it even come down to that being an issue? Your second best scorer had 0 points in the fourth. How is that possible? 0 points from your fourth guy. You saw Doc talking to him, trying to get him into the game, but it didn't look like he did anything to me. He still just looked flat. You can see him moving off the ball. And when the ball he wasn't even active on the floor. You saw him just playing.
It almost looked like he was pouting.
Yeah.
I felt like he was a boy that was pouting because he's just like, Doc seems like, do what you got to do. And then you're like, well, what is that? I don't know.
He's a proven veteran in this league. He's making we're paying him $130 million to what? Stand there and hold his dick the whole at the end of the game and not do anything? I'm sorry.
Honestly, that's what it seems like, he's about at this point, is just posturing and not being consistent.
And he was consistent all year. What's different now?
I don't know.
He's supposed to be our closer. He's been our closer in most games, and now he just I'm just gonna slide back into like that Homer Simpson thing. He slides back into the hedge and disappears.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's just what I see out of him, and it's sad. And Ben, I don't know, he's not mentally tough. He's just showing it now. Like, he's really see it now. We want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but he's not mentally tough enough. You can see it. You tell me you can't hit half your free throws? Half? Not even be a 50%.
Especially when you were going almost 4 for 4 in the regular season game. So it's not like he can't do it.
He just showed drastic improvement.
Drastic improvement. Yeah, so I don't know what happened.
And now in the playoffs, he just went to sleep. So he's developed the gifts all of a sudden. Like, what is that?
I'm just trying to figure out, is it they assume that the other teammate will pick them up when they get tired, or they don't time their or they're just so worried about stepping on each other that they kind of take pauses at the wrong time, or I don't understand.
Yeah, it's great. I think this team lacks one thing, that killer instinct. They don't have it. They don't have it. And me and Joe were talking about that, how they don't have the killer instinct.
They don't.
Kobe had that killer instinct. LeBron has that killer instinct. And he's a guy who took a whole team on by himself pretty much. And he against that whole series against Golden State, where he pretty much almost took them to the brink with nobody.
Yeah.
Me and you could have been on the team, right? Whatever.
I keep reposting clips of the WNBA girls, specifically the Las Vegas Aces, because them girls been playing their butts off, and I'm like, some of them need to be sitting on the Sixers game and giving them advice.
Put one of them in the Sixers jersey. Come on.
Yeah, I'm about to say, because the team in Atlanta is the Atlanta Dream, and I know some of them girls can play in Atlanta, so I hope they go to the game tonight and just be like booing them as soon as they start playing crappy. Like, not the Hawks, but the Sixers, just to be like, what's that? What is that? Because you can't tell me you're sitting there playing. I'm sorry, I didn't know if you were done.
No, go ahead.
I don't understand how you play so great, even the ups and downs through the Wizards series. You even saw them getting tired of losing that lead when they did in the Wizards series. There was something even in Tobias that was like, nah, we can't go out like this. You know what I mean? Because even when they were starting to get chippy with Westbrook, yeah, but that's my point. So I'm trying to figure out where the lax attitude came into the series. And I don't know if it's maybe since the first game, when they lost, and maybe somewhere along the line there was something that wasn't working even in the first series, and they just didn't address it, and therefore it just started showing up in this series. But to me at this point, part of the problem is Doc's substitution. I mean, we know that Doc subbed some of the bench too soon. Like, I understood Maxey because Maxey generates energy, but that's supposed to be Ben's role. Now, Ben also had ice or something last game, so I'm wondering if he's having a secret injury that he's not talking about, because I'm wondering if that's why he feels gassed. But then he was sick for a while during regular season, so I'm wondering if he had COVID. I mean, that's not been proven, but he was gone for a while. And I think after a while, I was like, why is he gone so long? And then I thought, is he just not wanting to play? Like, what's going, like, he was gone for longer than usual since when he first came into the team, with the foot injury. So I'm just wondering if that's just like with Seth. It took him a while to finally get, and you see now Seth's going back to the Curry. Like, all he needed was 3 more of those Johns, and he probably would have took that game for us.
I mean, he had 30. He wasted a great effort by him and Joel.
Oh my God! Like, without Danny, like, I was hoping I kept doing the hashtag Curry Green, because I just thought all we need is them two to get in a rhythm, and then everything everyone doesn't do in the fourth doesn't matter. Like, if they hit every single shot, even when it matters. Like, they're losing both of these games back to back by 3 points. What did that tell you? You just needed that much.
Yeah, and it just shows you that Atlanta's not that great. You let them back.
No, they started pumping up once they died down. So that means we gave it to them.
Now you got these guys flexing their chests like, oh yeah, we're good. But they're not.
Oh, Collins, yeah.
We're clearly a better team.
Collins, please. I mean, he sat there and ran into Dwight's shoulder, which was a mistake, obviously, and popped himself. Yeah. But God forbid, they start shooting in the last 3 minutes, and all of a sudden Collins was like He-Man again. I'm like, oh, now you He-Man? Please.
Can the refs just let them play these last 2 games? Let them play.
Yeah, don't get too whistly. Like, let's just see.
Every little thing. I mean,
every little
there's
thing.
Points where you see Trae Young get tapped on the wrist and they blow the whistle, but then you see Ben get tackled or wasn't get tackled and they don't even call anything. I'm like, so
anytime Ben went to the rim, he was attacked. Yeah, like that one dunk that Ben meant, that Collins was right there. Right. He got hit. And Toby, too. That's why Toby started falling off. His layups wouldn't fly anymore because he was starting to get attacked, and I think he just fell off.
Well, you know how they give some players the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And they do that stupid move. I hate the move that Trae Young does because Harden does it.
Yeah.
They jump into you.
And then they bolt, and then it's like,
Yeah, instead of shooting like a normal jump shot, you elevate and shoot it. They jump into you and shoot it.
Right.
To draw the contact. And they're actually they said they were going to look into that for next year as
because it's happening too much.
It's happening way too much. It's making the game. It's like flopping in soccer.
I even think the hack a Ben thing should stop, because if they're hacking the worst players and that's a giveaway, that should be illegal too. Because after a while, it's a punk move. Like, you could tell the coach felt the need to do it early because he thought it would throw Ben off, and it did for a minute until he hit both, and then he went back to missing them again. So my point is, even if it's obvious that you're using it as a tactic, like, that's pathetic to do it that early. You know, but all the more reason for Ben to be like, oh, watch this, and just make all of them, just to be like, can you leave me alone now? Like, so I can focus on my D game, you know? So the fact that he fell into that whole, I don't want to do this. There were times by the last one, I don't even know if he was scared as much as he was just like, I'm sick and tired of being here. Like, you could tell he gets an attitude now going to the line. And I'm like, why are you tired? All you got to do is push your elbows in and just, you practice every daggone time before the game. Now I'm wondering, maybe him and Dwight should be practicing like him, Dwight, and Matisse were during the season after a game. Like, maybe y'all need to put in a little more focus and not just act like it'll work out the next day. Like, Ben just is so aloof about stuff, at least publicly, that you just wonder if he internalizes so much that he doesn't allow himself to be normal and play freely, you know, when he's actually at the game. And that is troublesome, because that's a simple just a mindset. You can't have anybody help you with that. Like, Doc can't help him. And the fact that Doc feels the need to stick up for him I feel like there's something else going on that we don't know about, because why would you protect someone that is clearly costing you some of the games? Because all Ben had to do was make at least 2 more sets of shots, and Embiid's layup and missing it wouldn't have mattered in that one game, because that was going to be the only thing that was going to get them over the hump. But his knee was bothering him.
Even if him and Tobias was taking, if they had to put 3 more shots each in the game.
In both games, yeah, they would have won.
They would have, because one or two of them were going to drop. You know, and also it changed the pace of the game. If they would have scored at least once, it would have made the game change.
And even if Curry had hit that one shot before, just at the buzzer, 1 point win, I'm good with it. Like,
well, no, that would have tied.
Either way, my point was, like, if they had to go to OT,
yeah, and that would have been great.
I would have been fine with it. Like, whatever, you shouldn't go to OT, but just win it. Yeah.
It shouldn't even came down to that, because if they would have scored anywhere in that run, that would have slowed them down, and they would have been. That's when they start scoring left and right.
But I do think they all contribute to each other's troubles, because at this point, I don't really think it should be an issue of whether it's just Toby. I mean, yes, we're mad at him because we know that he was playing so well. Seemed like he was losing that hesitancy. And then Ben, you know, we thought that he was finally going to get over the whole free throw thing. And then they just reared their ugly heads. And then I don't know if maybe, like I said, the crowd got into them. I mean, I'm losing track of my days. It was Wednesday night's game made me angry, because it's like, you got Dr. J, you got AI there, you got all the greats there. You have no reason to want to look that bad in the fourth quarter. If anything, that should be like your last hurrah. Like, get anything you have left and just go nuts, you know, just to defend the basket.
Yeah, they're just showing that they don't want it.
Either that, or they're just really that out of shape that they allowed that to be a factor, you know, because you don't go that far because you don't want it. You go that far because you know you have it. But at somewhere along the line, I think they just honestly started coasting. And I do think that Doc's rotation creates some of that confusion, because that's what the thing was with Brett Brown. It's like it disrupts the flow if you sit certain guys early. Like, if you sit Toby early and he's been doing good, he's going to have to muster that all up again later. You know, Embiid deserves to sit the most, obviously. But he won't sit his ass down. And then when he does, it's like, now his knee's going to get worse. So
The thing is, Doc substitutions should not stop them.
It shouldn't.
From winning the game.
I'm just saying, I think it contributes.
Yeah, it doesn't help, but these guys are fucking athletes. They should
I agree, they're professionals, but
they should be able to. Okay, well, you mean something? I can't score 1 bucket. I got a chance of making 1 bucket.
I think your sound's going out.
You know? I got a chance of making 1 bucket.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, well, you see when Furkan is always starting, which I never think helps. But you see that Matisse doesn't help either. So what do you do when Danny's your other starter that's out?
Yeah, it sucks that if Matisse had a better offensive game, he could easily be a starter. He could easily be a starter.
He made 2 threes in the Monday night game, so that's why I was thinking, okay, cool, Matisse is coming back. No, he's not.
Yeah.
You know, so it doesn't help. But his defense also is what cost the game too, because he got that last stupid foul, and it was like, oh, damn it.
Which wasn't really a foul. But.
It wasn't, but whatever. You knew they were going to look at him as over pursuing, because he's always over pursuing, but they don't flag him for everything. They did that with Dwight for a
I
while.
I was laughing at that one foul, and Matisse was on him, his own Trae Young, and he jumped up, came down. No, Seth was on him. He jumped up, went up for the three, missed, came down, and then he just like kind of just fell over.
Yeah.
Called it.
Yep.
And you look at the other camera angle, he didn't even touch him. I was like,
Wait, was that the one where Seth went down or him?
no, he went down.
Okay, Trey went down.
Yeah, Trey landed and then just fell over. Like, so,
And they went for it, yeah.
They didn't even touch it. I'm like, and they went for it, gave him 3 shots. I'm like,
Because me and my brother-in-law were talking about that back and forth. I said, Seth has a way when he falls, he does this stop, drop, and roll thing. He's real dramatic. Like, he'll stop and then go. like, he rolls into a little ball. So it's like every time Seth does it, I think he's just worried about people's feet. So he just goes down and.
that's actually a good way to fall.
It is. No, it is. It keeps him. Yeah. You're right. You're right. Because you see Embiid dragging his leg, throwing his body. At one point, he tackled Collins. I was like, wrong sport. Did you see when he almost took out his knee? I said, that's wrong sport, homie. This ain't rugby. Yeah. I was worried. I said to myself, somebody in the NFL is going, are you sure Embiid can't be like a... Can we get him on defense? Because he seemed like he really forgot where he was for a minute.
Yeah.
It was bad. But what do you feel like is the remedy at this point for tonight? Like, do you care? Because I'm over it. I'm just going to watch because I'm a fan. But I feel like they lost their shot. They lost their shot about like
my
Wednesday.
Also, if they can pull this out by some miracle chance and just actually find their heart,
Yeah.
finish the series out, I'm nervous to the point of, okay, well, how are you going to beat the Nets or the Bucks playing like this?
It's not. Look, even if the Nets or Bucks win, because obviously with them it's win or go home at this point. I mean, I'm shocked even the Bucks lost. Bucks won last night, but whatever. I mean, you also got to consider KD has got a sleeve on his leg now, so it's only a matter of time before he has that same injury again. Right, exactly, because Harden's barely moving, but they're desperate, and Kyrie just got hurt, so it's like you're lucky that these injuries wouldn't be an issue because the Nets would be blowing everybody out. Yeah.
That made me cringe. I saw that.
Yeah, because Kyrie's tight. I thought it was just a jam at first. I'm like, okay, you landed wrong, but then you don't know how fast and hard he landed. Yeah, all his weight on the outside of that. Yeah.
His leg was straight, and his whole foot went down.
And then the foot went in.
His ankle, yep.
Yeah, so, and you're lucky, and it's sad because he's the one with the best handles on the team. Like, let's be honest. Like, you don't see people doing that stuff the way that Kyrie does it. Regardless of what his personality and how he seems very standoffish and moody and stuff, I think he's just one of those people that really wants it, but obviously the politics of the NBA became something that probably is what created that kind of persona that he's developing off the court. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day, as long as he shows up for his team. But if you got injuries mad around the second round, if the Bucks win, I'm not intimidated by the Bucks. But now that I don't trust my own team at times, it's like anybody can beat them because mentally they're defeated. Like mentally they're weak.
Yeah. I mean, of course, I want them to come out of this on the other side of this ready to go. But
Me too.
We don't know. You know what?
Yeah.
It could be a completely anything. They could just show up and all of a sudden find the rhythm again. But who knows? They can do that.
I don't trust the lead anymore because you see they led every time that they lost. It's almost back to what they were doing a year ago.
Yeah, and clearly they're the better team.
They are the better team. I don't care what nobody
they're
says.
the better team.
Yeah.
Clearly the Sixers are the better team. I mean,
Yeah.
you see what happens.
Yeah, it's not a factor, but right now, like we said before, mentally it kills you every time. So no one trusts you, so you can have the lead. As long as they have the lead in the fourth quarter or even close to the third, I'll be feeling a little bit more optimistic. But if they start tanking towards like after halftime, I'm done. I'm literally going to tune out because I'm like, here it comes. They're just about to fold.
I'm gonna watch the whole thing and
Me too. I can't not watch. Yeah. Me too.
I want to see a Sixers championship in my lifetime. I was too young to.
Me too.
Wasn't even born to see the other one. So.
I wasn't. I mean, I had coworkers older than me who told me, yeah. We weren't born, and they were telling me it was fun, but I'm like, it's going to be a new level now because after the Eagles won, it's going to be a whole nother level type of parade.
I'm still rocking my Mustang, so I still got it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wearing exactly what I wore when they started this series, so I'm trying to stay with it. Cause...
Even got a new Sixers hat.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because I wanted the royal blue one. I never bought one.
Never got, yeah.
So I
Yeah, I love the royal blue. But it looks good, and my whole thing is when you're a fan, you're a fan to the end. I mean, I was
Oh
pissed and
yeah.
said I hope they lose Friday because I just don't want to deal with it. But I don't mean it. But I just think at this point, I'm more hopeful that they learn from this. That even if they do survive this series by the skin of their teeth, it's not because Atlanta beat them. It's just because
Yeah.
they decided to participate through the whole four quarters and not tune out.
Yeah. Know that you cannot play like that to win championships.
You
Because
know,
if they
and
don't, because they get ousted in this round, you know what's going to happen. They're gonna blow the team up. You know
they might as
they're
well,
gonna have
yeah,
to.
because
They're gonna
I feel
have to.
bad for Embiid. I feel bad for
Part of me
Embiid.
is like, part of me low key wants them to kind of lose just so they can blow this team up.
That's where I was too. That's where I was
You
last
know,
night. Like that's why I said I hope they lose because I really think they just need to get away from this whole
because
lineup.
I think you need to keep Embiid and Curry. You got Curry for 2 more years, and with a decent contract, and he's a good player. He's a solid player.
He is good.
Uh,
Once he got better, you see that he just has a certain type of way of delivering that
yeah,
ball.
you keep him. You try to get Maxey into the starting lineup if possible, and you go out and get
I'm
somebody.
not worried about that. He will be in the starting next
You
year because
go
he
out.
already
You
played
go
like a
out and
starter.
get somebody. You
Yeah,
go out and get somebody like somebody like Damian Lillard, or you try to get. I would love to have Bradley Beal here.
I would too, and I
Yeah,
wish they would work that out. But I know salary wise, as soon as you say it, people are like that's not realistically going to happen. But I'm like, money is money. If Bradley loves where he wants to go, then he'll go. I think he liked the Sixers. I wouldn't be shocked if he tried to find a way to get here.
he wants to
You just
play in Washington. Right?
there's nothing there. No, but really, there's nothing there for him. And I hate to say it, it's not just because of Westbrook. It's just because overall he was suffering on that team without anybody. You
Well, you
know.
see, it's not even real. It's not even real estate. So, no, I'm just kidding.
Well, my whole thing too is with Bradley is that I just feel like he's wasting his talent on a team that's never going to get there. And I think with the Sixers, all they need is one or two pieces, to get over the hump. They need somebody to, and honestly, Bradley won't have to work too hard when he's here. Like he knows where his spots are, you know.
I mean, the guy's a scorer. He's
He's
a
a
scorer.
scorer, so that's all that matters. That's all we've ever needed was scorers. We never had consistent three guys. So, if JJ didn't feel burned by the organization, I would want JJ back for another year. But JJ's so over it, and now that they shipped him to, where is he now? They shipped him like Mavericks or something. I think he was like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
Yeah. So he's not happy. He's not going to come back here, but he was honestly clutch when it came down to. I mean, there were times he didn't hit it, but he was clutch in like the last minute of games at times. But he was more consistent than what we have now. Put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, this is his whole thing is he's just like defensively, he's a liability.
No, I agree, and honestly,
It's like having
most
4
of the
guys
good
on the
shooters
floor.
are. Yeah,
Like 4 guys on the floor, on defense. So.
and that's the thing. I don't know too many shooters that are great defenders all the time because that's their main game is shooting. So they don't know how to run for the other opponent once they score.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
that's their
there's
thing.
very few. Like Danny Green. Danny Green's a good defender.
Danny Green got there were a couple games even before he got hurt that I was like, oh wow, he was very aggressive on. There were a couple times I was like, okay, Danny playing defense, all right. Because before I didn't really notice it honestly because I was so busy always watching the other guys, but I did notice a couple games that he stepped up, and I was like, even during the Wizards series, I was like, wow, okay. But yeah, I'm more looking forward to next season only because one, they might possibly have the real rest that they didn't get from the COVID gap before they cut the season, started it again. So I think that's partially why there's so many injuries. Is that nobody got that real postseason that they're supposed to get physically, like LeBron was just tweeting about.
He's gonna get 4 months to recoup.
Right, everybody's body needs. Embiid needs the knee surgery. Whatever procedure he needs, and then the rest of them just need to stay focused and stay conditioned because that's really all it is. But it is 90% a mental game, and you can see where our team is not consistently keeping their mental. So somewhere along the line, the fatigue is setting in mentally.
I mean, do I think they checked out? I don't think they 100% checked out yet. I think they still got some fight in them, but they got to finish. They just got to finish the fucking game. They come out roaring and they can't finish.
And that's unheard of because why would you not want to finish when you were doing so well in the first series? Even when they lost, they always had a way of coming back, and that's something that was missing years ago. That I think when Jimmy was here, he kind of created that like finish what you started mentality. But even when Jimmy went flat, it's like they still didn't deliver. So there's somewhere along the line that people have to know what their roles are for sure and play their role. And somewhere along that last game, everybody kind of just forgot because they said that one shuffle where everybody was like giving each other the ball before they had a violation. You're just kind of like, what? Why would? How do you not know who was going to shoot? Like, just that's a moment where Embiid usually would just hike it up. Somebody take the shot. Like, why was that a big decision? That's when you knew. I'm like, oh, they done hit a wall. They don't even know who to throw the ball to now. Like, the freak is going on with my team. But
They got to find their heart tonight. They have to find it.
they do, and hopefully next time we talk, if they are going to Game 7, then that'll be more exciting than this game is. Because honestly, I'm like you. I'm just watching just because I'm a fan, but I'm not. I will not be excited if there's a lead in the first half. I'll tell you that much. I'm just going to be like, we've been here all week and ain't had no good return. So until they have that lead in the fourth, will I be excited? So, but until 0-0, we'll know, Ed. So hopefully next time we rejoin again for Birds of a Feather, our Sixers edition. Hopefully we're talking about moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals. So
if you get a random drunk testament from me later, scream mad. So,
it's almost gonna be like a pre-Super Bowl-ish type of communication where we're gonna be like, oh my God, they did it! Now I'm gonna save that for Game 7 because if Game 7 win or go home and they win it, that to me will be more exhilarating than this win. But they need the win, so hopefully the good energy will manifest. So here we go. Go Sixers. All right, we'll talk 2 days from now. Hopefully we'll have some good vibes. All right. Peace out. Bye, Sixers fans.